What are you doing when you, as a leader of any kind, are suddenly faced with a problem and you have no immediate solution for that? That's exactly what we're going to talk about in today's episode, which is called Mastering the Art of Uncertainty, a Leader's Mindset. And if you're new around here, hi, I'm business and life coach Catherine Louise. I'm also a communication trainer, and I'm so happy to welcome you here. If you are watching this episode on YouTube, please make sure to subscribe to not miss out on any future episode. And if you are listening to this on your most favorite podcast platform, please make sure to subscribe too. And I would appreciate it so much if you could leave a 5-star review. That will help my podcast grow so much and reach more people all over the world. I believe we're currently at 56, 57 countries, which is wild to me. Like reaching people in so many countries, I have goosebumps. So thank you so much for your support. And today we really want to talk about those situations when you as a leader are faced with sudden problems, issues that we haven't been prepared for. And come on, we have all been there, and it is almost to be expected. And if you are being presented with a leader who is trying to make the impression that they have it all figured out, I honestly would run, because I know for a fact that so many leaders are trying to build trust with the fact and by pretending they would have a solution to every problem. And let me tell you, that's not possible. That's not possible. And a good leader is not being defined by the fact that they have it all figured out, because again, it's not possible. It's flat out a lie. Like, obviously, the more experienced you are, the more solutions you're going to have on hand. However, you're not going to have a solution for every single uncertainty. It's not possible. So let me take that illusion and also pressure off of you, because again, it's there we're all human beings. We do not have solutions for it all. And today, let me give you a little bit of an outline for this episode. We first of all going to understand the challenge. Second, I'm going to show you how you can develop a resilient mindset. And then third and last but not least, I'm going to provide you with practical strategies for taking action. So you're going to get yourself, your team out of this situation and master it, to be honest, because at the end of the day, it's like when you know how to maneuver in uncertain times, and I think we can all agree on that. We've been faced with a whole lot of uncertainty in the past years, right? Like what we consider successful, what we call amazing leaders, are not the people who pretend, but the people who will actually show up and put an effort in and figure things out together and being transparent. I believe like one of the most underestimated qualities in an incredible leader is transparency and honesty, because this is what is going to create trust. If you're trying to pretend and show up as somebody you might not be, people will smell that. Like, people are not dumb. People will figure out when you try to be a person you are not. But on the other side, being transparent and being honest and being like solution oriented, this is one of the biggest qualities of any entrepreneur, of any person in a leadership position. You really want to be solution oriented. This is what it all comes down to at the end of the day. So let's talk about understanding the challenge. First of all, being faced with uncertain times, with issues, with problems, happens every single day, probably in every department, in every company. It happens all the time. It's normal. I think you really have to take that pressure off of believing this is only happening to you all of the time. And no, Heck no. Like it is almost to be expected. It is very common. It happens every single day. And I am telling you that specifically because I want you to understand. And I really need you to release that pressure, to really leave it and take it off of your own shoulders, because every single person you're watching and you might admire is being faced by problems and issues all day long. The difference is only how do people handle it. See where this is headed to? So please don't think this is only happening to you. I think understanding that, like really understanding that, is already one of the greatest game changers. Then let's talk about the illusion of control. Like, I know we all love to control things, right? This is such a common misconception that leaders always need to have all of the answers. No, you as a leader, you are not the one person running the show, but you as a leader, it is your job to support your team, to make sure your team has everything to be able to perform their best, to really make sure to support them in the way that they can grow and do all of the things. It doesn't mean that you need to have all of the answers. However, it really does mean that your team is your responsibility, making sure they have everything. Like, you know, you cannot control everything, and really you shouldn't. Like, we're talking about micromanaging here. Oh, no. Please, no, sir. You really don't want to micromanage your team. So also, you having all of the answers, nobody really probably expects that from you except yourself. And it is important to really also understand that, so you can have a mindset that will allow you and the people you're leading to figure things out in a positive way. And really, it is so important to understand that, to have the mindset that will allow you as a leader to actually have the attitude to respond to that kind of uncertainty in a way that will make you not only find the solution, but also master it. And the beautiful thing about having the right mindset to face uncertainty is when you can work through it, you and your team obviously gonna come out on the other side so much stronger, so much better in terms of the skills you learn during uncertain times like that are gonna be unmatched. This is quite powerful. This is why having a resilient mindset, a mindset of a leader, is so crucial. And let's actually talk about developing a resilient mindset, which is, first of all, as we talked about in the beginning, uncertainty, problems, issues are to be expected. And actually, you should really consider that kind of uncertainty as an opportunity. As I just said, when you can work through uncertain times, to issues, to problems, you're gonna come out on the other side so much stronger, so much better equipped with so many more skills. So actually, it's a beautiful thing. And if you are a leader with a resilient mindset, you actually going to embrace uncertainty, because you know what it's going to do for you and you know what kind of impact it's going to have for you. So I actually know a lot of leaders looking for uncertainty to literally throw themselves into that, because they know it's an opportunity for growth. And that's actually what you really want to consider. Like, doing this decision, going into this direction, yes, that might be very, very uncertain, but what can it do for us? Like, how can we grow going through this? And then also, I love this one, cultivating curiosity, right? Like, when we are leaving that kind of controlling, because you can't control anywho, right? Let's be honest. Really cultivating curiosity, being willing to explore unknown territories, and really being curious about new things. Growth is not in the areas where you know everything. Growth is not in your comfort zone. Growth is, however, very much so on the other side of your comfort zone. And you have to really ingrain that curiosity. A big part of your mindset as a leader needs to be curiosity. So you can actually make that step and lead the people you're working with that confidence. Like lead your team, lead the people you're working with that kind of curiosity. Be that example. And this is the very important thing about that kind of mindset, because if they see you being curious and being willing to explore and actually wanting to do that and actually going just right into it, they're going to follow you literally. This is what leadership is about. You lead those people, you lead by example. Like what you do is, and here's the thing that's so much like when you say something but act differently, that's not going to match. That's not going to happen. This is not good leadership. If you say something, you have to lead with example. If the people you're working with, the people you're leading, see and watch you being curious and having that confidence that you're ready to explore this, you're ready for the growth, they will trust you. They will follow you. They will be like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen, but we're sure going to figure it out. This is why this resilient mindset is so crucial as a leader. And then also, what is always so important, and this is what empathic leadership is probably all about, that really having the emotional intelligence to really not only being self-aware but also being empathic to take care of your team, like figuring out what do they need in order to navigate through challenging situations. This is your job. We're not doing micromanaging over here, right? We are making sure our team has everything they need, and this kind of emotional intelligence is the biggest difference between amazing leaders who run successful teams, who actually need people that want to continue to work with you. They're not going to leave the job after a couple of months, that actually want to grow with you, that actually are ready to trust you. And this is how you also build amazing leaders for the futures, right? You lead by example, and emotional intelligence is a huge part of being an incredible leader. So, let's talk about some practical strategies for taking action, okay? Because now we get the curiosity, now we get the trust of the people we're working with. What are we going to do now? And I would love to, we actually need to add that on to the mindset part, because what I always tell my clients is you have to adapt the mindset of a researcher so much, like so much. When something they try and it doesn't work out, they would never consider that as a failure. Never. However, they just gonna cross that off and celebrate that they actually know now that this, whatever strategy or going about things doesn't work, because it means it is one option less. That means they are one step closer towards the goal, towards the actual solution. You know where I'm coming from. This is the kind of mindset you have to adapt whenever you are facing uncertain times, or when you go about completely new things. You have to really understand that whatever you do, whatever doesn't work out, you gain knowledge at that moment. You gain maybe even new tools you haven't tried before. And it is so important to understand that whatever hasn't been working for you is actually an increase of your knowledge, and that is to be celebrated. That kind of mindset is so important. So, but now let's talk about the practical strategies for taking actions when you're being faced with a challenging situation. First of all, gather all of the information that you can have, gather all of the available data and insight. Like now you can check all those analytics. Feel free and make sure to be transparent again and do that together with the people you're working with. Make sure to let them each have their task and then come together and discuss the information. This is how you really want to involve your team. And this kind of collaborating, problem solving is going to make your team work so much more close. Like that kind of benefit you will gain from your team working like that, working together like that, sharing the information is unmatched. It's going to make your team trust and collaboration. It's just going to emphasize it all in such a positive way. And so make sure to really involve your team. Don't do it by yourself. Involve your team. Be transparent. Discuss. Have some brainstorming going on. You're going to love this. It's going to make so much fun. By the way, this kind of work involving your team and then really, comparing data, trying to come up with solutions is also where you as a leader get a chance to really see the different skills and talents of your team members. This is so important. And then make sure to support them in their each unique talent and make sure to delegate the task that will make them challenge themselves. They're going to love that. They really going to love that. Then third, create a plan. Like no matter how limited your informations are, it is so important to have a structured approach. So important. And again, the plan doesn't need to be like so developed for the next few months. Just start somewhere. Know the next few steps. That's all that you need for now. And then go from there. And always make sure that when you see how the plan is working out for you, you are ready to adjust or maybe pivot a little bit. But just always make sure to track the progress and again, together with your team. And then number 4, which is so important, when you feel overwhelmed because you don't know, how, like if you're being faced with a really big challenge and this is really a lot to handle, make sure to break the challenge down into manageable steps. And again, if you're working with a team, make sure to delegate each task, but don't make it too much. Again, you don't want to overwhelm your team when you're already overwhelmed. You really don't want to go down that road. Make sure to break it down into small steps and take it step by step. Listen, there is only so much you can do. Okay? There's only so much you can do. So don't try to take the whole entire challenge in one day. It's not happening. And you're doing yourself and your team a huge disservice. So break it down. Make sure that the plan you're creating is actually manageable, not overwhelming. And I know sometimes that's really kind of a tricky task, but believe me, it's worth it. And then also ask your team to give you consistent feedback. You will need that. The team needs that. Make sure to gather the team all together frequently so you can have that exchange and constant communication. You know as a leader how important that is. And then something I really want to add on is you have to overcome your self-doubt. I know specifically when things are really overwhelming, that's a big one. That's very difficult to handle. However, it is so easy to focus on the only negative things when it really seems like it is very, very daunting. You have to challenge those negative thoughts and really focus on your strength. Like I know that's like you already know that's like building a reputation. You have been building your reputation for years and years, and then it just takes one bad thing to destroy it completely. That's the same with negative experiences and challenges. It's like you can be so successful, you can have so many rewards and so many job promotions. However, one challenge and you feel like you're the greatest loser. Sounds familiar? However, I want to challenge you and really focus on your abilities. I want you to focus on the things you have already accomplished and build that self-confidence to really, get your chin up a little bit higher, please. You know what you can do. You know what you're capable of, and that's exactly what you're going to do right now. Also, and I know this to be a fact, I have never seen as many supportive people as the really successful people. Like, to them, it's a complete no brainer to support each other, to really have that network, to have those people, like you already know this person is a genius in X, Y, and Z. Oh, that person is a genius in, his field. Go there and seek that kind of support. It doesn't make you seem weak. I think we all, most of us tend to not ask for support because it makes you seem weak. However, that's not the case. That's not true. Asking for support, asking for, maybe even guidance makes you strong, because asking the geniuses in their fields is going to supply you with knowledge that it would take you years to gain that, right? To gain that by yourself, to make the failures and experiences that will be required to gain that knowledge. So make sure to go out there and seek support. And then on the other hand, you can supply and provide them with support when it's needed for them. That's how you build that network. And again, there have never been as many supportive people as like the really successful ones. So make sure to really get out there and communicate again with your communication is so important. See that? With your team, with the people around you, with the people in your network, it is so important. It's going to take you so much further than anything else. And remember, you can and you will do anything you put your mind into. There is no such thing as too much, too big, too much of a great challenge. It might take a while to get through certain challenges. Yes,